Hello everyone, welcome to Learning Techniques. This is your host Hemant, and today we are going to learn how we can create and write a first shell script. So if you're well versed with Linux but you're still not confident how to start writing a script, this video can be your mate. So before writing any script, my first suggestion would be you should be aware exactly what you are going to achieve by that. So I'm putting some requirements over here that firstly, I want to identify how many kernels are installed on my system, then create a custom user. If it's not there, if it's there, then do not create it. Then perform some actions on a service, maybe a start, stop, any service like FTP or anything like that. And then at the end, we can wrap up the script by putting some custom users and then finding their password change date. So that's the agenda for the script. Now quickly move back to the shell and without wasting much time, let's go rolling. So those who are not aware what a script is, it's basically execution of some commands in a sequence. That's all, or maybe in a parallel how you're going to write the script. It's not need to be very complicated. It can be a set of simple commands. So I have wrote a simple command script as well. It's simple 4 command script is going to put the output for all those 4 commands. They're pretty independent, so not going to do any failures. The thing worth noticeable over here is the shebang character. It's actually tells you which script or which shell, which shell is going to use when you're going to execute the command. So maybe some commands which are only meant for the bash script, or they're going to find the bash script. Then if you put any other command that is solely for any other script like PowerShell or maybe Python, it would fail because the shebang given over here is, or the interpreter given over here is a bash. So quickly get the script running. So if I run this script, it's simply going to provide 4 outputs for me, and that's fine. Now let's back to agenda and write a custom script for us. So like any other script, just simply put a shebang character. For me, I'm going to write a bash script, so I'm going to put a bin bash over here. Now, the very first thing you need to know when writing a script is how you put a documentation. So anything, if you want to write and you don't want to execute that, just put it inside a hash and it will be commented. It will only be for the documentation purpose in a root. So my first thing was how I can identify uh, the number of kernels installed on my system. So I'm just running one command, and this command is going to provide me the count of the kernels which are installed on my system. Now the problem is how to store it and print in the script. So this is a backslash character you need to take care when you are going to run any command in a script. And this assignment operator will actually ensure that whatever output is coming out of it is going to store in the kernel count variable. Now we executed a command, we stored its value inside a variable. The next thing is how we can print that value. And for printing any output on the screen, you need to use the echo command. Now what it is doing, I'm simply giving inside a quote, and what's doing, it's running everything literally. Now where to find a dollar symbol? It's actually going to substitute the value of the variable. So whatever value is stored inside that, it's going to substitute the value and print on the screen. So don't trust me, we can execute it and test. So simply first provide the execute permission to the script. You can simply provide 777, or if you want to stay granular, you can put like X or something else. And now the script is having execute permission. Now you can run the script. So you can also use sh parameter to run the script, and it will tell you now we have total 2 kernels installed. So whatever command ran, it provided output of 2 and it displayed on my screen. So move back to the script. So the second agenda for the script was like how we can create a custom user. So simply create a custom user. But before that, I would prefer adding an extra space. Just put an echo, and it would put an extra space when the output will be displayed on the screen, so it won't look messy. Now, the first thing, since we're going to write a custom user, I would prefer, just note one thing, the spacing inside the script won't matter. So that's fine how much space you are providing. That won't going to display anything on the screen. So the first thing is I'm printing a statement that provide a username which you want to create. Now the shell will hold over here. And this argument, the read thing, this basically holds the script, and it will, whatever value we will type, it's going to store in this particular variable. As of now, we're only storing the value, so it won't make anything. Let's put something more meaningful. So the user had put the input, or put the username. Now the thing is, you have to check whether the user is already created in my local user database or not. So it's just validating something in the password file, the value of this user, and then it's actually, I don't want to make my output messy, so I'm just redirecting to a null file. And after that, whatever command you run, its exit status is going to store in a variable $question, or basically it's stored. So you can display that thing using a $question mark. So I'm just putting a test statement with a if my last command exit status is not equals to 0. So whenever a command runs successful, its exit status is usually 0. So anything not equal 0 means this is not able to provide any output. So what happened when my user is not there? It's a if I'm asking. So any if statement, when you write inside a script, they need to be followed with a then. So if my particular condition is matched, that I'm not able to find any user for that, then what you have to do, just create that user and print on screen that I have created the user for you. Now, the next thing is, if I'm not able to find, then what happen? Say, either I can write second if statement, or I can simply put a else. That means I'm able to find a user, something like that inside the script. So what you will do, then you don't create that. Simply put a message that I'm able to find the user, so I won't do anything, or anything what you want to write, and then close your if statement. Just for the sake of extra space, I'm adding an echo over here. Let's see how the things are going for us now. So you don't need to be putting sh every time. You can also use a dot slash. That means I'm writing something inside my current directory. Now it has two kernel store. That's the first requirement which already met. Now it's asking me which user you want to create. I'm putting a simple user like Sunday. So it's not able to find that, and it created for me. Now just to check whether my test condition and if condition is working now. I know my user is created and it's already there on my system. Even, okay, first let's run the script. So I ran a Sunday and it told me the user already exists. In case you want to see, we can also check if my user is already there, and I can find, yes, my user Sunday is already created for me. So in this way, I can provide a custom username. The only thing which is holding the script is a read statement, which is asking you to wait and provide an input, a custom input. As of now, the output is inside the separate line, or the values inside a separate line. We will ensure it in the later point that this output is you're going to create over here only. So that's fine. Now, okay, my bad. Quickly move to the script again. Two things we have already achieved. Now let's see our third requirement, that is how we are going to manage a service in a Linux. By managing over here means I'm going to perform some action. You provide a custom service name, and we are going to ask exactly which action you want to perform, and it will perform that action. Now, the last problem which we saw, that the value which we are going to ask is going to print on the next lines. Just to stop the new line character, I'm adding an echo hyphen in. Now what will happen, it will not go to the next line, but on the same line, your inputs you want to provide. So it's going to ask me which service you want to manage, and I'm going to provide some input, which is going to stored in this variable custom service. Then my second requirement will be what action you want to perform. So I'm again putting on the input on the same line. So just making it a bit easy for the user, which actions I expect from him, I'm putting over here, and it will be stored in the second variable for me. Now the thing is, I'm going to use a case for the users. Case is something where depending on the input value, you can perform several actions, or depending on the cases which you provide. So let's understand in an easier way. I'm putting the case over my action value, that whatever action input you provide. So it's a format, a simple format. So it is going to find that value. Now inside what I'm going to find that value. So if you provide the value as start, it's going to execute something for you. It's not a if else, it's a case statement that whatever you provide, it's going to perform some actions accordingly. So if you provide a start, it's going to use a systemctl command, then your actual action you want to perform and the service name which you have already provided, and then some output on the screen. Similarly, if you provide a separate action, I don't want to do a, and just to ensure that you are not the case statement is completed for that particular action, you close that with semicolons. Now the second action, maybe you want to perform a stop. You have given a stop over here. So now in the case statement, the second stop is a stop, and it will perform some commands with whatever is required and written in the stop section for you. Then the third thing is maybe you don't want to start or stop, you just want to see the status. So just put the status over here in the action, and it's going to display some status for you. And some users are a bit naughty, or they somehow do not read the statements and they provide anything. So apart from any of these three values, if you put anything else, its script is going to simply say that it's a known action and it cannot read it. So your case stat, now you have written everything. Now you have to close your case statement, and it's going to close with the exec statement. It's just opposite to the case. So now you have written exec and your case is completed. So our third requirement is done. Let's quickly see if it's going to work fine for us. So username we want to create, I just want to create any new user. So I'm putting Sunday. It will give me error. Now you see it's not going to ask you the value in the second line. It's going to ask you in the same line which service you want to manage. I would put a running service in the MS system, PSFTPD. Now it's going to ask you which actions you want to perform over here. I would prefer starting that service. So I put, and it started the service for me. In the same way, I can again check it if it's already started or not. Okay, VSFTPD. And I want to simply see the status. So it should display the status and script purpose is done. So these things we have achieved till now. Now, my last thing was how to find the password value of if you're providing any inputs from a file, maybe a user list or something, how you can provide that. So let's quickly create a file on my system and just put some values inside it. So user detail. I'm just creating a user detail in a file. So let's put some random users, Sunday, root, Ansible, Stacy, maybe some users which are not existent on my system, RAM. So these are users I have created for myself. Now quickly jump back to my script. And start writing our fourth stanza. Now thing is, we have to print the value for everything which we are providing inside my file. So just to make output more clean, and the next command that now I'm going to use a loop that is going to perform everything over each value. So just putting some statements on the screen so that people will be aware what they're going to expect. And then I'm running my loop. Now my loop condition is I'm just using a for loop over here. So it's a variable, and this variable is going to find something inside a file. And the file name, if I remember correctly, is user detail, which I have created. So it's a file, something is written over there. The best practice is provide the absolute path rather than the relative path. Then you have provided in, it will pick every entry and store its value in the variable called user logins. Now, after that, it will perform some actions on it. So whatever actions you perform, you have to provide inside a do section. Now, I'm not going to do much over here. I'm just going to simply perform the three things. Okay, the screen looked a bit messy, just a setting, and let me change the screen values a bit to a smaller value so that things will be much clear. Okay, so what we are going to do over here is I'm going to use a variable user passability. What's going to use whatever user you have provided inside that file is going to run a single command over that. It's going to grab some entries and put some functions and bring a value for us. And in the next line, I'm going to execute that output with this variable stored, maybe the username which is stored and the value which I got in the above command, and displaying on the screen. So that is going to do for each and every user. And then the last thing is done, that once it's completed, this only section is only to execute, and now you are done and go with the second user in the loop. So let's run this script again if it's bit complicated for you. So this is the username. I'm not going to go with some new user for C Sunday. So it clearly told me it's already there. Whatever echoes we're using inside it, that we are getting the payback here. It's bit space separated outputs. Now this file you want to manage. So I'm just giving the SFTPD. Actions I want to perform, maybe stop this time. So that's fine with me. Now the next action, it traverses on the file which we have created and it keep on running things for on it. So the first thing is it go for the user Sunday and it provided the output, then the user root, then the user Ansible. Then the user Stacy, it told it's not exist, so I cannot do anything. It tried running command, but it's not able to find anything. And then for the last user. Now, so this is a script which we have written. There are some caveats which I have left for you guys. So if you find it good, do test in your environment. And if you're already experienced with the scripts, I would prefer fixing you some caveats written inside that, which I'll tell you over here. Like the thing is, maybe I do not want, I'm actually running the things on a service which is already there. You can put an if over there that if the service is not there, then what it's going to do. It should only run when a service exists. If it do not exist, do not perform the commands. Then maybe something like if a user do not exist, do not run on that. So you can put a test over here as well. So this is a simple script. And I think it's a bit powerful as well for those who can learn and make use of it. So that's all from my end. I hope this is helpful and beneficial both for you. Do test, do not leave it. Reply me back with a modified and a bit better version of this script and stay connected. Thank you for being such a nice audience. Thank you very much.